Domestication theory of animals, the theory of why the dog is man's best friend. Let's start with a little backstory. In the late 1800s, Charles Darwin was one of the first in his time to have recognized the handful of traits that made domestic species different from their wild ancestors. He was also the first to recognize that not all animals could be domesticated. Over the millennia, humans realized that there were better places for some animals than at the end of the spear. And there you have it. The cow, goat, sheep, chicken, horse, dog, and cat were domesticated, meaning that a mutual, sustained relationship had been established between humans and these animals. Humans use them for hunting, for their milk, for their meat, and even hides. From the term mutual, we can see that animals too had something to gain from us humans. They could seek safety and food from humans, which really increased their survival rates as compared to their wild brethren. Over time, these traits make domestic animals an entirely distinct species from their wild counterparts. But what made only these handful of animals able to be domesticated? What happened to the zebra, lion, and even the ox? Well, frankly speaking, these animals didn't quite have the traits that humans were looking for. Certain animal species and certain individuals within those species make better candidates for domestication than others because they exhibit certain behavioral characteristics. Let's create a domestication checklist. The first characteristic is that animals needed to have a flexible diet that would enable it to eat whatever the humans could offer. Like for herbivores, it was grass and our surplus grain supplies, and for omnivores or carnivores, it was mainly scavenging on humans' leftovers. Any picky eaters with specific dietary requirements had to be eliminated. Then comes its temperament that ensures it doesn't have a strong tendency to panic or flee. Take a gazelle, for example. If humans had spotted a gazelle and tried to bring it back with them, it would have taken off at the first chance it got. There was no way they could have come even close. Next up, we have the ability to breed in captivity. They needed a low degree of selectivity in their choice of mates and not be so picky. Cheetahs, while once prized as pets in the ancient Egyptian community, could never really achieve domestication due to the lack of this factor. They required elaborate courtship rituals that humans just had no time for. Oh, and they also had to conform to a social hierarchy. Why? Because humans, we dominate. It was important that we were pack leaders, or ahead of the pack. Let's consider zebras for a second. I mean, sure, they really do look like horses, but they're actually miles apart. Zebras, well, they're herd animals. Zebras lack a family structure. But horses, they live in packs and have a hierarchy. By taming the lead male horse, humans naturally were able to become the leader of the pack. They also needed to mature really fast, or grow up really fast, which ruled out the possibility of domesticating elephants. Male elephants took 15 years to reach maturity and female elephants took 9 years. They also needed gap years after each birth until they could conceive again. Seriously, elephants, we had no resources for that. Are we done yet? No, we're not. Human hunter-gatherers also looked for animals that were docile in nature. They had to be nice because, well, try taming a vicious carnivore. Doesn't quite work out. Let's explore what actually happened to these animals. Sheep weren't always this fluffy. We humans unintentionally favored fluffier sheep because they made for better wool production, and we started this process of selective breeding, where to maximize fluffiness, we bred the fluffiest of each generation. Selective breeding is a form of artificial breeding where humans develop particular phenotypic traits by choosing a pair of mates that had those specific traits. A phenotype is a set of observable characteristics that results from its genotype. And that is why dogs don't have large scary teeth anymore, have much weaker jaw muscles, blunt claws, floppy ears as compared to their wolf cousins. This also explains why in early human history, only a baker's dozen of animals could meet all the criteria and be successfully domesticated.